You've probably heard me talking about this self-sufficient living skills bundle that's been going on, and I have been spending the last week flipping through so many of the incredible resources within this bundle. Now, I will say there's a lot. There's over 118 different ebooks and courses and lessons sharing incredible wisdom and knowledge with you so you can live off the land and you don't have to rely on this corrupt and broken system for everything for your family. Anyways, I wanted to share some of my favorite things. One, first off, is off-grid homeopathy. This course is loaded with so much incredible knowledge, talking about homeopathy for first aid, for colds and flu, how to make your own homeopathic remedies. Like, as an herbalist who loves to teach that stuff, that's pretty exciting to hear it in the homeopathy realm. There's also some incredible fermentation guides, so many other amazing herbal recipes and food recipes, and how to make your own sourdough bread, how to do your own organic gardening and canning of all of your foods. Really, there is so much. And yes, I know. I've talked about it a ton, but this entire bundle is only $50 right now until Sunday, March 24th. I'm sharing my herbal first aid skills, which is a course that's $47 on its own. I'm sharing recipes that I used when I got my products into REI for herbal first aid kits and so much more. You'll have to check it out. I'm serious. Like, you can absolutely change your life with this bundle. So there is a link in the show notes for you, and I hope you check it out. I hope you take advantage. Don't worry, you don't have to go through everything right away. You can access everything for up to a year. Once you're in the course or have the download, it's yours for life. It is a steal of a deal. Okay, self-sufficient living skills bundle in the links for you. Does the stress of life, maybe the holidays and all the things we have to deal with in this world get you down? Well, do not frown. Fortunately, there are several different kinds of herbs that you can use, and there are natural pathways to boosting your mood, reducing stress, and alleviating anxiety and depression. That's what we're going to talk about inside of this episode. Hello, and welcome to The Herbalist Path, a podcast where you'll discover how to make your own herbal remedies at home so that you can take better care of yourself, better care of your family, and better care of our planet. I'm Mel. I'm a clinical herbalist, environmental educator, and mountain living mama with this crazy passion for teaching more mamas and their little loves how to use plants as medicine in a safe, effective, and tasty way so that there can be an herbalist in every home. Again, it's an absolute honor to have you on the journey down the herbalist path with me so that together we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. If you're like a lot of people I know, the holiday season is maybe not so much the most wonderful time of the year. I mean, it's definitely touted as such, right? But for me and many other people that I know, it can be a really stressful time. There's so many high expectations, all the things that we have to do, extra events all over the place, the expectations for the gifts. Where's that money going to come from when you're already strapped? Now you've got to spend even more money on holiday gifts, and that could be so stinking hard. And so I really wanted to take some time and talk about some of the herbs that we can use to address things like anxiety and depression and stress that we all have to face in our daily lives, and the ways that we can support our kiddos in these things. I know my daughter deals with anxiety, and if I could support her in any way possible, I'm certainly going to do that. So there's so many things that we can do. And I want to talk first about just kind of what's going on in our society and with our kiddos. So there's actually some studies that have been done back from 2016 to 2019. They were studying children ages 3 to 17. And it turns out that things like anxiety, depression, and ADHD are the most commonly diagnosed mental health issues for our kids. In fact, anxiety, 9.4% of our children, 5.8 million of them. ADHD, 9.8%. That's 6 million of our children being diagnosed with ADHD, which often these things lead to major behavioral problems, like 8.9% of our kids were reported as such, or depression. 2.7 million of our children are depressed. And this was before 2020 hit. And see, what we're seeing is that these things are on the rise all of the time. Way back in 2003, the rates were at 5.4% for kids with depression and anxiety. All the way up to 2019, 9.4%. And then in 2020, they saw a 21% increase in all of these different behavioral issues with kiddos. It's super sad because when this happens, it leads our kids to feeling depressed, feeling sad and hopeless. It can lead to drug and alcohol abuse. And the worst of all worst, it can lead to suicide. And that's straight scary. And there are so many factors contributing to this problem. Our screen times. This stuff is preposterous. Who can get off of a screen these days? There's parents that are excessively busy. Divorce rates are super high. There's a great lack of emotional support for our kids because these parents are so busy. There's a lack of exercise. There's poor sleep health. Maybe these kids aren't getting outside enough. Maybe these kids are just being forced this huge homework workload and not even getting the time to actually be a kid. Or maybe they're worried about all the shooter drills they have to do in their school because school shootings are now a regular thing. Our classrooms are overcrowded, making teachers stressed and unable to give these kids the support that they'd love to and deserve. Love to give and deserve. Maybe it's a poor diet. That definitely leads to all kinds of behavioral and mental health issues. Why? Because if you have a poor diet, it's affecting your gut health. And basically, our gut is its own brain. It's actually referred to as the second brain, and it houses our enteric nervous system, which communicates with the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system. And when it's stimulated by the vagus nerve, it increases all the digestive secretions of the body. Then we have the sympathetic nervous system, right? And it communicates with our enteric nervous system, the brain in the gut, essentially. And it does that when fight or flight kicks in, right? When you've got this stress or this adrenaline pumped up all the time, which happens a lot in our society. That actually decreases the digestive secretions and the ability for your body to digest any food overall. Which, as I'm going to chat on this mini anatomy and physiology lesson, because there are also over 100 million neurons in your gut, which is equal to the amount of the neurons in your spinal cord, in your lower brainstem, and the upper brain as well. And these neurotransmitters, so they basically are chemicals that are released by the nervous system that cause various changes in your body, right? And a large portion of them are made inside of the gut. Quite a few of them. We're going to talk about a couple really quick that are really relevant to anxiety and depression. So one of the neurotransmitters made in the gut is dopamine. And dopamine, I say it and I get happy, right? It's known as the feel-good neurotransmitter. So Our brain releases dopamine when we eat food that makes us happy or that we crave, when we have sex, when we are feeling feelings of joy and pleasure. And it's just basically a part of our reward system. It actually boosts your mood. It boosts your motivation. It boosts your ability to be attentive. And it can also regulate your learning and emotional responses as well. And then another really important neurotransmitter is norepinephrine, which is our ADHD or hey, pay attention to me neurotransmitter. So it plays a big role in your sleep and wake cycle of your body, and it helps you to wake up. It also has an ability to increase your attention and ability to focus on performing particular tasks. It will improve your memory storage. It's also really important for helping to regulate our emotions. So problems with low levels of norepinephrine are associated with depression and anxiety, substance abuse, post-traumatic stress disorder. It can cause a great lack of energy, a lack of concentration, ADHD, and depression, right? This is why so many of our antidepressant drugs out there, our medications, really affect the norepinephrine levels in the body. So it's really important to think about these things. It really is. So the other neurotransmitter that is produced in the gut, at least 40 to 50% of it, is serotonin, our happiness neurotransmitter. And it really affects all of the parts of your body, from your emotions to your fine motor skills. It's actually considered a natural mood stabilizer. It's the chemical that helps with sleeping, with eating, and digestion. It can reduce depression. It can regulate anxiety. And when you combine the norepinephrine and serotonin together, they are a great pair because the serotonin is going to improve your mood and the norepinephrine is going to improve the alertness and your energy all over. And together, they just do a great job of combating depression, honestly. And there are natural ways you can boost these chemicals in your body by things like sleep. Hey, I wanted to take a quick pause to show some love and gratitude to our sponsors of the Herbalist Path podcast, who make this show possible for me and possible for you too. So here it goes. Medicinal mushrooms are all the rage these days, if you didn't know already. And with great reason, because they are powerful medicine that can improve your health and your life in so many different ways when they're well made. Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of stuff on the market that isn't going to be so effective. And that's why you need to find a brand that you can actually trust. For me, that brand is Whole Sun Wellness. And this is the creation of a brilliant woman and fellow mama, Jamie Bonfiglio. She's an international mushroom educator that has been working in the medicinal mushroom industry for years. And this is when she saw firsthand how many other companies take shortcuts when it comes to their products. And Jamie wasn't having it. She set out to build her company the right way. Whole Sun Wellness is here to raise the industry standards so those crap mushrooms on the market aren't getting into your body or your family's body. Whole Sun Wellness is the first company to test and report nutritional facts for all of their extracts. They go beyond industry standards every step of the way, from sourcing to extraction and final testing. And as the owners of the largest medicinal mushroom farm in the United States, Whole Sun Wellness is taking control of their supply chain for the highest quality and absolute full transparency. They're even the first company to include pure mycelium extract in every single product. So when you're thinking of getting medicinal mushrooms for you and your family, Whole Sun Wellness is exactly the ones you want. Also, be sure to check out their new mycolights. These are the world's first dissolvable electrolyte tablets. They're featuring functional mushroom extracts that'll give you more energy, more stamina, and recovery as well. And who couldn't use all of that? The other thing is they are these adorable little mushroom-shaped tablets, and they come in like a little Altoids box, but way cooler than Altoids because they're mycolights. Anyways, head to wholesunwellness.com to grab yourself some mycolights and all of the other functional medicinal mushrooms that you and your family need. And of course, you can grab that link right here in the show notes now. Exercise, doing a small good thing each day and rewarding yourself and saying, hooray, let's celebrate. Music, meditation, the things that feel good trigger more feel good neurotransmitters, which is beautiful. And I'm not here to give you an A&P lesson. It's not my strong suit. I really love to talk about herbs. That's my strong suit. But I just really also wanted to connect, so many of us aren't feeling great because we are not treating our bodies well. We are not treating our gut well. And actually, next month in January in Apothecary Momma, we are talking all about gut health for that entire month in our live classes. If you'd like to join us, I'm sure you can find a link in the notes below. And the good news is, of course, we can turn to herbs to support us during times of stress, during times of anxiety and depression. And there's a few categories of herbs I really love to turn to, one of them being nervine herbs. And as that word sounds, nervine herbs affect our nervous system. Some of my favorites will start with chamomile. I love chamomile. It directly calms the central nervous system. It is amazing for easing anxiety. It can help with those that are dealing with insomnia. I use it on a regular basis with my own daughter who does suffer from anxiety. And the other perk is that chamomile is also really fantastic for stimulating digestive secretions and easing inflammation in the gut and various other things that it can do for that whole gut-brain connection. It's basically a powerhouse herb. Another one that is an amazing nervine I think people think of often is lavender. So it also calms the central nervous system, right? It eases anxiety, it lowers stress levels, and improves sleep health. It will lessen irritability. If you are somebody or somebody you love is consistently depressed or dealing with mood swings, lavender can be a great mood booster. If you have stress-related headaches, it's really great. If you're a woman who is dealing with menopause and the irritability coming along with that, or PMS, lavender, it can be a great friend for you. It really can. And another one that I think is incredibly important, and so many more of us should really take advantage of, are milky oat tops, or the same plant that makes oatmeal. But it's this milky seed that you have to get at one little tiny window of the year. You get the fresh seed, you squeeze it, and it produces this milky-like substance that is an amazing tropho-restorative, which is fancy herb geek speak for meaning that it helps to restore that particular system. This one, the nervous system. It's very nourishing for the nerves. It is a calm and gentle herb that can do great things for reducing anxiety. It's a gentle mood elevator. It can help you feel a little more grounded. It's really specific for people that are dealing with chronic stress and depression. Definitely for premenstrual irritability or menopausal irritability. If you are somebody who deals with nervous headaches, you could really benefit from a high quality milky oat extract. Again, it needs to be in the milky stage for it to be really good for the nervous system. It's still very nourishing and mineral rich for the body when not in the milky stage. But since we're talking about nerves here, let's carry on, right? So some other categories of herbs I look to are antidepressants, or herbs that will lift the mood or boost the mood. One of my favorites is lemon balm, or Melissa officinalis. She's known as nature's sunshine and is really specific for boosting the mood, especially during times like seasonal affective disorder. Right now, as I record this, it's December and, it's dark here in the United States, and it's hard to see that sunshine, which can also boost our mood. But we got lemon balm on standby, which is fantastic. She's also calming and soothing to the nervous system and a phenomenal herb for children. One of my favorite, actually. She can help reduce anxiety and irritability. She can calm an overactive mind. So think about those kinds of things when you're choosing herbs to use for yourself and your family. Another one that can be a helper, though I must say is really highly praised, a little bit beyond what it deserves, but St. John's wort. Definitely has had quite a few studies touting it as a great antidepressant, and it can be really wonderful. But it does take 4 weeks at least for the mood enhancing effects of St. John's wort to come into play. And it's also really most effective during very traumatic times of stress. So maybe it's when you lost a job, or you have lost a loved one, you're going through divorce, something like that. St. John's wort can be a really great ally during that time, and pairs really well with lemon balm for seasonal affective disorder as well. But don't go following the hype on St. John's wort is everything. And it can definitely be contraindicated with various medications. So as always, when you're getting your herbal information, please check for contraindications. Natural does not always mean safe for you. So another one I love in that category is ginkgo biloba. I drink ginkgo biloba on a regular basis, mainly because I want it to help me stay sharp. Is it working? I don't know. Anyways, I want it to. So ginkgo's great. It actually has some flavonoids in it that do a wonderful job of increasing serotonin release. Thank you very much. It can be really nice for somebody dealing with migraines as well. You could take it alone, or you could maybe add something like feverfew with it if you deal with migraines. And another really great, valuable thing about ginkgo biloba is that it actually synergizes the effects of other antidepressants. So you could consider mixing it with some lemon balm, or some oat tops, or some lavender, or rosemary, or St. John's wort, or did I say that one already? Or Tulsi. There's quite a few that you could mix it with, and together they would dance and sing a beautiful song to help you or someone you love to get out of some mood funk in major, major ways. So, all right, we've talked about some nervines. We've talked about some antidepressants. Another category of herbs that I think is extremely valuable for those that are stressed or depressed or dealing with anxiety are our adaptogenic herbs. So these are herbs that quite literally help your body adapt to various stressors in life. Ashwagandha is one of my absolute favorites here. It's also a gentle nervine. It is a tropho restorative for the nerves, so it's going to help replenish and rejuvenate the nervous system. It supports adrenal function. It's really, really great for people that are overworked. It has rocked my world and saved me many a times in that way, especially when I was running my product line. I overworked myself like no other. It's unbelievable. Anyways, ashwagandha was my great friend. It's also really fantastic for people who are dealing with anxiety or ADHD or just nervous exhaustion all over the place. If you can't sleep, ashwagandha could be a really great friend. I do recommend one of the great ways to take ashwagandha is with a nice fatty milk. So you could I like to do a homemade coconut milk. It's super fatty and delicious. It's so tasty. Just do a simmer with the ashwagandha and add in maybe some cinnamon, some turmeric, some honey, sweeten it up, make it a lot of fun. Maybe a touch of black pepper just to increase the bioavailability for the herbs and everything. Anyways, there's a lot of ways to play and have fun with these herbs and get them into your body. I share a ton of recipes inside of Apothecary Momma. So another one of my favorite adaptogenic herbs that actually does fit into a nervine and an antidepressant as well is Tulsi or holy basil. And I really love it because number one, it's delicious. Anytime I make a Tulsi tea, my daughter is stoked and she will drink it, no doubt about it, which is really great because she can really benefit from it. Actually, a lot of us can benefit from Tulsi because it does have so many medicinal properties outside of just dealing with our nerves and anxiety, things like that. Actually, we just did a class in Apothecary Momma all about, I called it time to take an herbal chill pill. So we can all really calm and relax and help our kiddos that are dealing with so much stress, anxiety, and depression. And what herbs can we use to support ourselves during these times? It's so important. So if you want to catch that recording, you can join us in Apothecary Mommas. I'd love to have you. I'm sure that there is a link again in the show notes or below this video, and you can definitely grab that. Anyways, aside from that, let's talk about Tulsi because it actually counteracts the negative effects of stress and prevents elevated cortisol levels. It completely eases anxiety. It can be really helpful to reduce tension headaches. If you are somebody who does deal with seasonal affective disorder, Tulsi could be the jam. I'm thinking St. John's wort, lemon balm, and Tulsi together. Hey, thank you. It'll lift the mood, no doubt. And it actually has had quite a few different lab studies done where it did show Tulsi extract increased dopamine and serotonin levels. So you don't always have to go for the drugs, though. Aren't we grateful for what Western medicine has done for us? Sometimes people really need those things. And sometimes all we need are some lifestyle changes and some herbs to support us along the way. So if you want to keep learning about herbs to support you and your family along the way, I want to help you. Stay tuned into this podcast, share it with your friends, and join us inside of Apothecary Momma. It's a beautiful community. And as always, before I let you go on this show, I do want you to remember that not all herbs are safe for everyone. And just because it's natural does not mean it's safe. So please be wise. I know it's hard to do. It can be so easy to get so excited about herbs and want to try them all. But it's also really nice to work with your healthcare practitioner, especially if you are on medications. So there can be some adverse reactions. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I hope you got a few good nuggets of gold out there. And if you try any of these herbs or have in the past and you want to talk to me about it, reach out to me. I want to hear from you. Thanks again and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of The Herbalist Path. Being on this journey with you is absolutely incredible. If you dig this episode, please leave me a review on your favorite podcast player and share it with your friends so that together we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. On another note, I must mention that while I know you're getting some good info here, it's important to remember that this podcast is purely for entertainment and educational purposes and is not intended to be a substitute for medical treatment. While the information in this podcast is absolutely relevant, herbs work differently for each person and each condition. That's why I recommend you work with a qualified practitioner, whether that be another herbalist, a naturopath, or your doctor. So thank you again. I am truly honored that you're tuning into these episodes and on the path with me to make sure that there's an herbalist in every home again. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends so that we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. It has been so much fun and so, joyous watching all of my medicinal plant friends popping up in my garden, from the elecampane to the comfrey and the arnica. I love seeing these friends pop up.
And if you are still trying to decide what to grow in your medicinal herb garden, you've got to grab my guide. It's all about the most essential herbs that every mom should know and should grow. So I teach you how to grow them and the many different ways that you can use them. If you want to grab the guide, go ahead. It's free, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get a lot of delight and use out of it. And there's a link to it in the show notes. I'm wishing you tons of happy medicine planting.